Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome to what is probably your first time watching the Kazalex podcast, and if it's not, then welcome back to the Kazalex podcast. I haven't done one of these in quite a while, so you're gonna have to bear with me. This might be bad. This might be, don't take this, if this is your first time watching, don't take this as an example of what future podcasts are gonna be like. Because this is the first one I've done in a very long time, and whenever I leave podcasts for a while or leave something for a while then come back to it, I'm normally pretty rusty at it. Normally I'm alright at them though. If you're interested in podcasts, etc., I recommend going and listening to my previous podcasts. I've got some episodes that I think are quite good, and that my people that have watched them or listen to them even have thought they're quite good. So if you're new to the podcast, I better just do this quick before you click off the videos. You're probably looking at this like, fucking hell, it's like 45 minutes to an hour long. Like, how am I going to sit through this? Well, you're not. It's basically a podcast, for those of you who don't know. I know most of you will know, but for those of you who don't, a podcast is something that, you know, you can listen to while you're at work, while you're, at the gym, if that's what you want to do, while you're, like, you know, traveling or whatever. Anything that you're doing where it doesn't require too much effort, like, if I was doing homework, for example, like, I wouldn't be able to listen to a podcast because I've got to concentrate on what the people are saying. But if I'm on my way to the gym, I have to go out my house, get the bus to the gym. The whole process takes like 25 minutes. I'll stick a podcast on. Or if I'm playing some Rocket League and I just cut a bit bored of music, or I don't really fancy listening to music, I'll listen to the game volume and the podcast. While I'm cleaning my room, probably a podcast, normally music for cleaning my room, but you know, that's just me, personally, me. And then when I'm at work, podcast. So I've actually got work in about an hour. So this, I normally, when they say, like, normally I get picked up at 6:30, but sometimes they come at like 6:15, sometimes earlier. So if I got to go early, I'm sorry. I tried to hit an hour with these podcasts, but we might have to go earlier. We'll see. So as standard, I've got me, obviously, got my notes. Well, I've got too many notes because it's my first podcast in a while. I've got quite a few things to talk about off the top of my head anyway, and I've got me water as standard. The only thing I don't have is my coffee. So you don't have to sit here and watch the podcast. You really don't. You can download this using like a YouTube downloader, or like YouTube to MP3 converter, something like that. I'd like to get this on iTunes or something, and I'm pretty sure that you don't have to be big to get shit on iTunes. I don't know how it works, but I mean, that's something for the long future if we ever like able to do stuff like that. So unfortunately, the only way I can get my podcast to reach you guys is really through YouTube. If I was to upload it to SoundCloud or something, not a lot of people would go and watch it, I don't think. So the only way to do this is on YouTube, but I like to have it as part of my channel anyway. It gives people a chance to get an insight into, like, me, where a bit separate from just playing Rocket League. So what's going on, guys? Welcome to this podcast. I haven't done one of these in a long time, and I like doing podcasts because it's, you know, it's relaxing. It's nice for me to listen back to sometimes. I've listened to all my own podcasts. It probably sounds a bit weird just listening to myself speak, but I do enjoy listening to my podcasts because it's like, especially when I listen to ones that I recorded quite a long time ago, it's listening to like a diary, like a voice diary in a sense. So anyway, if you listened to podcasts before, you might know the Joe Rogan Experience. That's one of the most popular podcasts in the world. Then you got my podcast. Nah, I'm joking. Fucking no one knows this podcast. But you know, I get like normally before I used to get like quite a lot of views on these podcasts. People used to really enjoy them, and I know a lot of people are waiting for them to come back. So here you are. And I'm sorry if this episode is rusty. I've not done this in quite a while. So I got inspired to do podcasts by the Smith Plays. He's a zombies YouTuber. You know, if you know Call of Duty, you know zombies. It's a zombies mode on Call of Duty, and when I used to really be addicted to that mode, I used to watch the Smith Plays videos all the time. And he had a podcast, and back when I was working as technical support at a company called eDirect Link, I was working there for a year as technical support. You know, answering calls and, you know, talking to people about their emails and stuff. While I wasn't answering calls, etc., I'd listen to a podcast and I'd get through. I've watched, he's on the episode 110, 120-ish. I listened to one the other day as well, like his latest one the other day. And I've listened to every single episode, more or less. I might have missed like one or two maybe by accident, but I pretty much have watched all of his, or listened to even, all of his episodes, and I absolutely love them. So I listened to him, the Joe Rogan Experience, my mate, Drew even, I call him Dooz then, but his channel is Dooz Plays. He has a podcast of his own, I enjoy listening to that as well. What other one? My mate my mate James, his channel was JT Gaming. He's sort of got a podcast. He uploaded like one episode, I think, and he hasn't uploaded one since. But I quite enjoyed that. It was his first episode, so he was a bit, a bit rusty. It takes, like, I'm rusty now, for example. Like, I'm already, like, struggling a bit. But it's because I haven't done this in so long, which is why I'm struggling. So I thought that's why I started podcast, basically. And I thought I'd start this podcast by just giving you guys an update on my current situation in life. And tell you guys, what's going on with me. Maybe provide a bit of inspiration, a bit of motivation. You can benefit from podcasts sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling or what I want to talk about. Sometimes we'll just talk about games. Sometimes, like, films or something. But, like, I wouldn't really dedicate a whole podcast to talking about films, etc. But, it's thinking this is me just sitting down for an hour and talking to you guys and talking, but no. Figure this of me sitting down for an hour talking to myself, and you guys are listening in on that, if that makes sense. So when I'm doing solo podcasts, which I do most of the time, think of it like that. When I'm doing podcasts with other people, obviously it's a conversation between two people that you're listening in on. It's nice. Podcasts are really nice. I'm not claiming that I've got a good podcast, okay? To me, I think it's alright, because it's me. But obviously, you guys, it doesn't compare to the Joe Rogan experience. I don't have the ability to get guests on, like, fucking, my brain's gone blank. But, like, like, celebrities, scientists, boxers, MMA fighters. He's had on loads of names, because obviously he works within the UFC. Joe Rogan, that is. Loads of different interesting, amazing people. He's had people like Dan Bilzerian on, or however you say his name. Sam Harris, that was a really good podcast. Duncan Trussell, really good comedian. Actually, Duncan Trussell's my favourite podcast to listen to. Not his podcast. I've actually listened to Duncan Trussell's podcast. I'm planning on doing it, but I haven't got around to it yet. But when Joe Rogan has Duncan Trussell on, that's an amazing podcast. So if you are looking for podcasts and you want to take some advice, I advise the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. It's really good. And I advise the Smith Plays podcast. And of course, I advise Drew's podcast on the Do's Plays, the Do's podcast. So yeah, guys, this is, and Thomas Evans has got a podcast. I'm still yet to listen to it. Actually, I might listen to it today at work. I just haven't really got around to listening to it yet, but I don't know what that's like. But if you're interested, go check that out as well. Yeah, so guys, my current situation at the moment, how's it going? I'm going alright. At the moment, I'm going through quite a good stage in life. I have ups and downs just like everybody else, you have times where things are going really well and you're happy, and you have times where things aren't going so well and you're kind of sad, and then you have times where you're like really fucking depressed for a couple of days, you don't have any motivation to do anything. We all go through that, and then you have times where you're just so happy, so motivated, you're on it, and I'm honestly in between, like, average and so happy, so motivated. So I'm in a good place right now, and I'm sorry I've got to keep drinking water. My throat's just kind of hurting at the moment. I've just come back from, like, being quite ill, so but I'm getting over it now. So yeah, my current situation in life, so how's it looking for me? So I'm back at college. I'm at my second year of college. Once I finish this year, I'm done with education completely, unless I go into uni, which I probably will be. However, I'm only going into uni if I know that I'm going to be able to carry on my YouTube channel, and that's important for me, because although this sounds stupid, and I'm not sort of like, I'm missing out uni for YouTube, it's not like that. It's the fact that YouTube is honestly, it's almost everything to me, in a sense that, like, without YouTube, I honestly don't know what I would be doing, with my time. Like, obviously, I am quite occupied recently with YouTube, gym, college, work, etc. I'm quite busy, if I have to say. But the time that I spend doing YouTube is the best time that I spend for me. I love going to the gym. Obviously, I'm not really a big fan of work and college, but it is what it is. I don't hate it. It's, I can deal with it. But YouTube is something that, without sounding cocky, I feel like I'm actually good at. Whereas a lot of other things I don't feel like I'm good at. It's the one thing that I feel like I'm actually good at and I can actually make something out of. And I'm so passionate for it. I've been making YouTube videos since whenever. So I don't know how possible it would be to continue a YouTube channel while at university. Because obviously if I go to university, unless I go to the one in Bournemouth, which is where I live pretty much. If I went there, then I'd live at home. Or rent a flat or something. The only problem with that is that takes away a lot out of the uni experience. So obviously, if I want to go to uni, my plan is that I want to move away. I want to move away from home, go somewhere else, and just, start a new life almost. And obviously, when I finish, I come back and, maybe, hopefully, if I, can make money, obviously make money, but if I can make enough money, get a place on my own and become independent. However, university, as much as it is for getting your degree, etc., and, making new friends and, all that experience, a lot of it, I personally feel like a big part of it is becoming independent. And I don't feel like I could do that. I mean, I feel like I am very independent at the moment. I'm I'm at college. I've made this YouTube channel for myself, which is for me at the moment going really well. I'm getting like 120 plus views per video, which for me is the best I've ever had in my life, kind of. When I had my Kazalex channel, I was getting about 100 to 300 views sometimes per video, but that was like once or twice a week, and those were videos that was technically pretty much only because Far From Film shouted me out, which gave me obviously I kept those viewers, and if I carried on, but it wasn't really my thing. This feels more like me. Although a lot of the people that Far From Film shouted out for me back in the day, have still stuck with me, and a lot of them are still here with, not a lot of them, but actually no, not that many at all, but a few of them are still here now, and you guys know who you are, you're absolute legends. Still a few of them are stuck with me now, but I feel like this is more something that I've made for myself, something that I've done for myself, and I've put so much hard work into it, and it's just started to pay off a tiny bit for me. Obviously, in comparison to people getting like thousands of views per video, it really doesn't compare, and my Audacity has just stopped for some reason. That's kind of... Okay. I don't really know what just happened. I'm just gonna go back to where it stopped and just carry on. I don't know if you guys heard all that or not. I guess I'm just gonna have to see, but I know that's gonna go out of sync with my webcam, so I'm gonna do a clap now, just to get that back in sync for me. I'm looking at the Audacity now, and it just broke down for a bit, so I'm gonna just repeat what I just said anyway, and I'm trying to remember what I just said. So yeah, the amount of hard work I've put into YouTube, I feel like it's finally starting to pay off. Obviously, in comparison to people with thousands of views on their videos, obviously compared to people with hundreds of thousands of views on their videos, millions of views, like PewDiePie, whatever, what I have is so minute that it's not even relevant to, YouTube itself, if that makes sense. It's not even relevant to them, or anything worthy of calling it a success. But for me, it's success. For me, this is quite a big bit of success. Getting a consistent 100 plus views per video is something that I've dreamed of since I was about 11 years old, I think. Maybe even younger, I'm not even joking. I've had so many channels in the past where I've made videos, really shit videos that didn't even deserve more than 10 views, but I put some work into it, but nowhere near as much as I am now, guys. I'm trying my best to do daily, obviously on top of college, work, and, everything else, and trying to maintain, like, a healthy lifestyle, go to the gym, like, 4 or 5 times a week, or like everything together, and obviously maintaining a social life and everything that comes with life. It is hard to maintain a YouTube channel. I mean, if I had no college and work, it wouldn't be too hard, but it's just on top of that, it is hard. And anyone who does YouTube and is doing education at the same time and has a part-time job, you'll know it is hard. So it is what it is. And the thing is with uni is, if I move away, I'd have to go into what's called student accommodation. Obviously, student accommodation, it speaks for itself. It's where students get accommodated. It's where they live very close or close enough to the uni. And it allows them to go to the uni in a different part of town. I've got a mate in Portsmouth who's in student accommodation. I've got a mate in Essex, London, or Sussex, I think it's in Sussex, who's in student accommodation. And the only way I could go around that is by staying in Bournemouth and going to Bournemouth Uni. Bournemouth Uni is a good university, it is. But I feel like if I stayed in Bournemouth, my life just would be the same. And although I like my life at the moment, I feel like a big part of going to uni is going away from your family, your friends, and starting something new and just completely changing your life. But if I was to do that, I would still have to keep YouTube. So I'd need to know for sure that it was a possibility for me to maintain my YouTube channel while at university and student accommodation, if that makes sense. Now, I know a lot of YouTubers, so sorry guys, I've just got to keep checking my phone every now and again just to see if my, what time my boss is coming to pick me up for work. For those of you interested, I clean a Mercedes garage. After hours, I go clean their offices and that. It's only like 3 hours a day. Recently, I've been working much, but I'm going to getting back into it now. Long story. Anyway, and I always say that. I always say like, okay, yeah, I wasn't really into it recently, but no, it wasn't that. If you want to know the actual reason, I don't think I've covered this. Every time I say that, I feel like people think that I was slacking and that I got like fired for a bit or something. No, it's not the reason at all. It's not at all. Basically, guys, I recently this year at college, and I'm gonna forget what I was talking about earlier, but I'll try and remember. This recent year at college, the year before this year that I'm currently on, so there's 2 years of college, and there's the one before. So the first year of college, every day finished at about 3 o'clock, 3:15. So it was possible for me to do that and have a part-time job. This year at college, they've just announced, well, they didn't just announce, they announced before the year started, like a couple of weeks, like a week or two before the year started, they announced that our days, although we're only going to college 3 days a week, each day finishes at 5 o'clock. 4:45 to be exact, but I'm not home till like 5:15. And I start working then 6:30 till about 9:30, like 10ish. It depends really. Or sometimes 9:15, sometimes even 9. It depends really on how quick we work, etc., and how many people are there. So obviously, if I'm finishing college at about 5 o'clock, it's not ideal in the slightest for me to then go home, eat something. I wouldn't have time to like, I maybe record, but I wouldn't have time to edit, render, and of course I get the fucking hiccups. Edit, render, and upload a video. Because it's just not possible. I have to do it on my days off, but then the days off I've got assignments to do, and it was just way too much. So I spoke to my boss, and I was like, you know, this is just can't do this. Can I just change my schedule a bit? And he's like, yeah, sure. So what's going on now is I'm covering for shifts that people can't do. So I'm not on a consistent schedule. I'm not working every day anymore. I'm working when people can't work. I'm taking their shifts. So that means it gives me time. Some days it's stressful, some days it's really not. And it's a lot better. But I'm probably going to go back to every day, which is going to make life hard for me. But I've just got to do it. So yeah, that's my current situation with work. So that's why I stopped working as much because I started college, and each day was finishing at 5 o'clock, and it was just too much, especially because a lot of my college work, in fact the majority of it, is at home because we get given assignments. I'm on a BTEC course, so I'm not on A levels, I'm on BTEC, which is if completed correctly, BTEC is the equivalent to about 3 or 4 A levels, I think. So it's just as good, but it's hard in a different way. A levels is hard because you're doing work, and then at the end you've got these fucking really hard exams. BTEC is really stressful and hard because you're doing constant work throughout the year, and it's not just work, it's assignments that are getting graded, so you're constantly getting graded work throughout the year, constant essays, and if you want to get top level marks, which I'm trying to get, you're gonna have to be like getting out 4,000 or 5,000 words per essay. Sometimes even more. I've just finished one 6,000 words, and I've done ones before about 8,000, 9,000 words. Some people do like 20,000 words, but you know, in my eyes, it's a bit pointless. If you can get the same grade for 8,000 words, why the fuck are you doing 20,000 words? It just shows that I know how to put more quality in less quantity, if that makes sense. So yeah, that sounded so cocky, but no. I flunked last year. I'm nothing special, trust me. So yeah, a lot of my work is at home, and it's constant of those essays, so you're just always doing essays, you're always typing, it's ridiculous, and it's hard for me to maintain that, work, YouTube, and try and live a relatively healthy lifestyle whilst keeping a good social life. It's difficult, but it's not impossible, but it's just difficult. So yeah, I took a break off work, etc. So but I'm probably going to get back into it now recently. Recently, I have been a tiny bit more, and I'm probably going to be working back just the same hours I was doing before, so, which is Monday to Friday every afternoon. So it's going to take a toll on me, but I'm going to try and maintain the YouTube channel, you know, as much as I can, or I'm going to get a new job. It depends. It doesn't matter. I don't want to talk too much about myself. Well, I am going to talk about myself, but I don't want to talk too much about work and all that, because it might not be too interesting for you. Guys, so the thing is, what's the talk? Let's talk about university. Let's go back to university. So I know this is a bit of a rusty podcast. Don't take this as what all podcasts are going to be like. It's just, obviously, I haven't done a podcast in a long time, and it's kind of hard for me to get back into it. And I'm trying. This is my attempt. So, yeah. So, guys, I don't know what's going to happen with uni. I know a lot of YouTubers who do go to university in different places, and they've had to move all their stuff, and they can continue to maintain their YouTube channel through university while they're in student accommodation, and it's possible, but they're in different countries. I don't know how possible it is for people in the UK. I've seen the room, like for example the Smith plays, and I've seen his room. It looks a bit bigger than what rooms are here. I don't know if that's like me just thinking like what the fuck, but I don't know if it's possible for me to have the equipment I have. It probably would be to have my PC. Well, I don't have a PC, I've got a laptop, which is a PC technically, but you know, I've got a laptop. I will be getting a PC soon, as soon as I can save up enough money. My lights, I doubt would fit in the room. I'd have to get some different kind of lighting going on. But I think it would work. It's just how loud I can speak and how possible it would be with all the work I'd have from uni. And obviously the new and much harder to maintain social life at uni. Not harder as in hard to make friends. I don't think I'm going to have a problem with that. It's more the fact that when you get to uni, all I've heard is that people are just constantly going out and all that, and obviously I've been going out quite a bit. Me personally, recently, I'm not really a big fan of drinking recently, and it's kind of weird because I've gone through a stage. When I turned 18, guys, I was going out about 4 times a week. I was honestly going out about 4 to 5 times. I was going out more nights than I was in, and every night I was going out, I was getting like pretty fucked up, like I was getting like drunk. And obviously that is horrible for your body. You're just consuming poison more than you're not, which is alcohol. And yeah, that's what I was doing when I turned 18 for about a month and a half to 2 months. Sort of about that length. Recently though, guys, I've turned down going out to town. I don't know where you live, but going out to town is going out clubbing. I've recently turned it down so much because, I don't know, I feel like I don't need it anymore. Back then, I felt like, oh, it's like an escape. It's nice. But now, I don't really have much to escape from, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain. I feel I'm very content and happy with the way things are going without getting under the influence of anything. And I'm happy like this, if I'm honest. I'm happy making YouTube videos. I'm happy keeping consistency at the gym, which is really fucking hard to do when you're going out like 3 times a week, 3, 4, 5 times a week. It's not impossible, but it makes it very, very, very difficult to maintain a healthy lifestyle when your life revolves around not being healthy, if that makes sense. It's hard to go to the gym when you're hungover, if that makes sense. And, you know, so I'm going out like once every month at the moment, which for me is fine, you know. If I didn't have to do that, I wouldn't. And it's not that I have to, it's just that, you know, all of my mates are always going out, etc. And it's nice to, like, go out with your mates, etc. You don't just want to stay in all the time. As much as that would be better for me to stay in all the time and just work on my YouTube channel, work on college work on everything else, it's not right, in my opinion. I feel like you do. I'm not saying you have to go out and drink. You don't have to drink, but I mean, to go out and just have fun with your mates is something that you do need to do. It's not that my mates would fucking leave me if I didn't. I could never go out. I could honestly not see my friends for like a year or something like that, and I'll still be friends with all of them just as much as I am now. I'd like to think so. It's not that, it's just maintaining a healthy relationship with your friends, going out, having experiences. You don't just want to stay indoors all the time, etc. So I'm limiting how much I go out. I'm turning down a lot of offers to go out clubbing a lot recently, especially money-wise. Whenever I go out, I find I spend like £50 a night, and obviously that's just absolutely ridiculous. I can't afford that. So yeah, you know, I'm turning it down a tiny bit. I don't know how old you guys are. A lot of you probably aren't 18 yet, or whatever age you need to be to drink or whatever in your country. I know some countries are like 19, some are 21. I don't think any countries are more than 21. And then some are like 16, I'm pretty sure. Like most European countries are 16 or 17. I can't really remember. But the UK is 18, and for those of you interested, I am pretty much 18 and a half. I'm pretty much halfway through being 18 years old, and it's alright. It's good. Knowing that if like people are going out, I could just go out without having to like use a fake ID, which I used to like try and do when I was like younger. I got turned down from so many cousins. I started using my cousin's ID, even though he's 24, and somehow it still worked like 90% of the clubs. So I was going out since I was like 16, 17, and obviously back then I loved it a lot more than I do now. Now it's alright, but at very, very less amount of time, if that makes sense. Guys, I was making podcasts back when I was going out quite a lot, and I remember talking to you guys. I remember there was that podcast I was talking to you guys about, not talking to you guys about the podcast, but there was a podcast, and I was pretty hungover in that podcast. I think I remember I can't remember. I was in my jacket. I was in my green jacket. It was the one where I talked about that fight I got into, where I got jumped by like 20 Arabs. Yeah, I think it was that podcast where that was like in the midst of when I was going out a lot, but I was still 17. I think I was still 17 then. Yeah. So that was before I was going out like 3-4 times a week, but that was when it was starting almost. I was almost turning 18 then. I think, I don't know. If you want to go back and find that one, if you can, I don't know. But it was one of my like first couple of podcasts, maybe like the first 10 or something like that. I'm not sure what episode this is. I'll have to go look it up. But yeah. Guys, it has been recently very good for me. I'm feeling a lot more motivated. The gym is going really well. I'm actually counting my calories now, so I'm really watching what I eat. I'm sticking to about 1,500 to 1,700 calories per day, and it took me, if those of you who are interested in fitness and stuff, and you want to lose weight, and you're a bit overweight, and you feel like you want to lose weight, one, if you're young, just do it, because the older you get, technically the harder it gets. I know I'm not nowhere near old enough yet for it to get harder. It starts getting hard, I'm guessing, when you're like in your late 20s, 30s. Even then, it's not really hard. It's when you're 40s is when you're kind of fucked. But like, the body you make for yourself now is if you're interested in that. If you don't want like a good body and shit, then fair enough. I personally think that everyone should really strive towards getting the best body they can, which is rich coming from me considering I'm pretty chubby. But I just feel like not only is it just a lot nicer, it's a lot healthier to be fit, obviously. You live longer, you have less problems. It's just all in all amazing. And lifting weights in general is just amazing for the mind as well, let alone your muscles. It's amazing for the mind as well. I keep getting notifications on my phone. Luckily, it's not work, so we can keep going. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, I've been counting my calories recently, and I've been talking to Matt from Far From Film, and my mate Alfie from college used to go to college with me, and I was asking them, like, how many calories do you guys consume, like, when you were losing weight? Because they both lost a lot of weight. They were both, like, overweight, and they both now are, like, not, I was going to say underweight, they're both now, like, fit weight. So I was asking them, like, how do you do it? How many calories? I think both of them said 1,500. I think Matt said, like, I think Alfie said 1,500, and my mate Matt, Far From Film, Pick a Pixel, Artificial MBT, whatever you want to go call him by, he said, like, we'd consider 1,200 a good day, I think. But then I thought Matt's a lot smaller than me. So I looked it up myself, and, like, my weight and my height and my age considered, they were telling me to lose, like, a pound a week. I've got to be eating, like, 2,100 calories, and I was like, fuck that. I feel like that would just maintain my weight, or even like maybe, yeah, that'd probably maintain my weight doing that, but I'm not interested in maintaining, I want to lose. So I went down to 2 pounds a week, what I would need to consume to lose 2 pounds a week, and it was 1,700 calories. So I'm doing that at the moment, 1,700. However, recently, the past 2 days, I've consumed like 1,000 calories, because I've been waking up late, having like one meal in the day, and that's it. Which isn't necessarily good, but you know, it's still under the calorie count. And I know it's like, oh, counting calories and that, it sounds kind of petty, but trust me, guys, it's really important for losing weight. And like I was saying, the body you make for yourself now is what it's going to be like for the future. It's hard for someone who's been fat their whole life to, at 40 years old, make themselves into a beast. But if you make yourself into a beast now, it's going to be easier to make yourself into a beast when you go off the rails in the future, if that makes sense, because your body is going to be muscle memory, etc. I'm no expert, guys, but that's pretty much what I've been told and what I've researched myself. But that's not the reason I'm doing it. The reason I'm doing it is because I'm sick of being fat. Like, it's shit. It's not a life, it's not comfortable. And a lot of people, they say like, oh, I've tried, and I'm not meant to lose weight. I've heard a lot of people say that, I do more fitness and more eat less than all my friends. They're all skinny, but I'm fat. So obviously, you know, I'm meant to be chubby. Like, that's just my body. Don't judge. Like, obviously, don't judge, but don't like. I can't do it. It's impossible. Like, fuck, that's so fucking wrong, guys. I know I've got some mates listen to this probably, and I'm gonna fucking straight up say this. I eat better and I work out so much more than pretty much all of my friends, and I don't feel cocky saying that because I know it's fucking true. I go to the and this is sounding very like self-inflated. Like, trust me, I'm not up my own ass. I'm just trying to explain to you why that theory that I stated earlier is complete bullshit. Guys, I go to the gym about 4 to 5 times a week. Granted, consistency lacks, but I never really go a week without going to the gym, at least for the past like month or so. But the past like week, I've been going, keeping on track, and it is my ultimate intention now, and I'm really set on it to go 4 to 5 times a week. I don't really know how. I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, I missed Wednesday, I didn't like miss Wednesday. I didn't do Wednesday like as I planned not to do Wednesday as a break day. I did yesterday, Thursday, and I'm going to be going the day after work. At like in the late evening, probably be working out till about midnight. Which is a bit shit. I was meant to go earlier today, but I didn't. So my punishment for that is to go at night. So I've got to get it done today, and it's my fault for letting it slide in the morning. So it's going to happen at night. It's just I prefer the mornings, but I'm gonna have to do it. That's the price I pay. That's self-discipline for you. I don't like saying that's self-discipline for you because I'm not self-disciplined. I feel like I am, but not to the extent that I want to be. But yeah, guys, I eat really well. I make my own meals. I count my calories. I don't eat processed shitty food, like unless on the odd cheat day or something. I might have a meal out with my mates or have a takeaway or something, but very, very rarely. Alcohol consumption has gone down a shitload, and guys, like, I'm doing the best I can. It's just, whoa, I'm not doing the best I can. I didn't mean to say that. I'm doing well at the moment, and it's going well at the moment. I'm already seeing, like, a few differences, and it's just going really well. But I have a lot of mates who eat like shit, don't go to the gym ever, barely are active, and yet I want to say they're fit, but they're slim. Or they're just, they're slim, skinny, or just like a tiny bit of fat on them, but nothing like I am. And it's just the way you are, guys. Some people are different. Some people's bodies are different. Some people will never be able to get, like, fat. James, if you're listening to this, he's been skinny his whole life, and he knows that. We all know that. And he can eat as much as he wants, do whatever he wants, but he's just not going to really put on weight. If he started bossing at the gym and, destroying protein, he would obviously gain muscle. It's different. But I'm on about fat. It's just the way it is, guys. It's the way your body is. A lot of people are different, and some people like me, I want to say we're cursed with the fact that it takes so much effort to lose weight, etc. But in my eyes, it's not a curse. One, it shows us that, for people like us, I think it's like mesomorphs and exomorphs, something like that. Look it up. I'm really not too sure. I should have researched that before the podcast. But there's different like body types and different metabolisms. Metabolism is what burns. Metabolism is. I know a lot of you will know what a metabolism is. I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of like I feel good. This isn't what a metabolism is, but it pretty much is, metaphorically speaking. A metabolism is imagine like an engine in your body that's running and burning off calories even when you're not doing anything. Your metabolism, the better your metabolism, the more fat you're burning while being sedentary. I don't know how you say the word. Being like still, and the higher your metabolism, the easier it is to lose weight, more or less. Give or take. And yeah, so don't complain. I saw, and I'm not going to name who, but I saw someone that I know, not really a close friend of mine, but someone that I know, I saw them write something somewhere. I'm trying to make this as, harder to identify, so if they're, just in case they probably won't be watching, but just in case they are, I don't want them to like, think it's them. I don't want anyone to like think it's them that I'm talking about. But there is someone who wrote something somewhere, and what they were saying is they eat healthier than all their friends, they do more exercise than all their friends, but they're still fat, and that shows that some people are just meant to be fat. That was pretty much exactly what they were saying. And if you have that mentality, I don't know how far you're really gonna go. Not necessarily in life, but with weight loss, etc. If you're having that mentality that that's just the way it's meant to be, and although you want to lose weight, but it's just the way it's meant to be, I don't think you need to do some more research for one, and stop making excuses, because it's quite pathetic, really, in my eyes. It's not that. It's just a lot easier for some people to lose weight than it is for other people. Like it would be easier for me once I've lost weight for me to build muscle. I've got a bigger frame. I've got broader shoulders than a lot of my mates. And it'd be a lot easier for me to like, make myself like, okay, so I've got a friend, Luke, if you're listening to this, I'm on about, who's skinny as fuck. He brags about it, but he's skinny as fuck. I don't know why you're bragging, Luke, but I always rip into it for him. It'll be a lot harder for him to, like, make gains and have nice shoulders, nice arms, nice body, nice chest. It's a lot harder for him than it is for me. Because although I have to lose the weight and then build up on it, I've already got the frame where he's skinny and short. It's harder for him. However, he's slim. He's skinny as fuck, but he's slim. He's not getting judged on being fat, if that makes sense. There's advantages, disadvantages. But I'm not complaining with the body I've got. You know, I pulled the short straw with the fact that, like, I've been chubbing my whole life, and no matter how much work I was putting in, I was not losing any weight. And it's only just realised that I just wasn't working hard enough. What I thought was just so much work to lose weight just wasn't enough, and now I'm just fucking off the rails, lads. Like, giving it my absolute best shot. Absolutely grinding recently. That's enough. That's work. That's hard work that is hopefully going to pay off. Guys, I'm not talking as if I'm up my own ass. I'm not talking as if this is something that, like, I'm so experienced in, etc. But I have been trying to lose weight, like, my whole life, more or less. And it's only now that I've realised how much work it is required. It's only now that I've realised that I need to count calories and watch what I eat. It's only now that I've realised that I can't just go to the gym, and because I go to the gym, that means I can eat whatever I want. I've got to maintain a healthy eating lifestyle and go to the gym as well to burn the calories. It's only now that I've realised that I can't go to the gym, just do weights and expect to lose weight. I need to go to the gym, smash out cardio more than I do weights. And even if I do weights at all, which I do. What I do now, guys, is if you're interested, I go to the gym. I go onto the treadmill, and I used to hate the treadmill because I used to do like long runs, and I just hated that. But what I found recently is it's better to do high intensity interval training. So what that is I'll go on the treadmill and I will walk on 4.5. This is people who know treadmills, etc. I'll walk on 4.5 speed, no incline, for about 45 seconds. And then I'll notch up the speed to about 14, sometimes 15, it depends, which is a sprint. I'll do that for a minute, but I won't start counting the minute until it gets to the speed. So you can see when the speed hits the actual speed, and until it gets that speed, I'll be running, but I won't be counting it. And then as soon as it hits that speed, I count a minute, and I'm sprinting for a minute, and then as soon as it hits that minute, I go back down to 4.5 speed and walk for 45 seconds to cool down, and then go straight back up, and I keep smashing that until I just can't do it anymore. But I try to get a minimum at least about 6, 7, 8 sprints. It really depends. Like, I haven't really calculated exactly how much the minimum is at the moment, but I'm smashing it. The other day, I think yesterday, I did 2 miles, which is about 20 minutes of doing that. And I was sweating my fucking ass off. And straight after that, I went and did burpees as many as I could, started banging out press-ups, and then I went and did my biceps. So, I'm realising that I'm learning, and I've just learned now what it requires for me to lose weight, and I feel like I've got it down to a T now. The only thing I need to do is maintain it and keep the consistency, and stay motivated, and stay on the grind, and not fall off the tracks like I have done a million times in the past. I've got some notes here that I wanted to talk about, more or less on the same topic of staying motivated and trying to make something of yourself. Like, guys, I know a lot of you aren't interested in getting fit and you don't care about your body and that is absolutely fine. I'm not here to judge. No one should judge that. Some people are different. Me personally, I just really want to be fit. And it might sound egotistical for me to say that, but it's not. I'm not doing it so that people can look at me and be like, wow, wow, wow. Although that is something, that is obviously a perk to being fit as fuck. I'm doing it more for my health and more just so health, strength, and so I can actually, like, take my shirt off and not feel embarrassed, if that makes sense. Not that I feel embarrassed. I really don't give too much of a fuck what other people think. I stopped giving a fuck about a year ago what other people think. Obviously, a tiny bit I give a fuck, but nowhere near as much as some other people do. Some people really get, like, anxious about it, and, you know, it depends on person to person. It's subjective, but everything about being overweight is just shit. You get tired easier. When I'm playing footy with my mates, I get tired easier. Sometimes the other day I was fucking bossing it, I'm not gonna lie. We played football the other day, and that was a really good sesh. Really good session. It was a really good session for football. But yeah, that's off the point. I had a note here, and here it is. I wrote this the other day. I'm trying to think when I wrote this. Okay, I wrote this at the gym during my interval. So I just finished sprinting, I was walking, I thought of this, because I was bossing it, guys. I had some inspirational music, not inspirational music, but like music that's pumping me up. I think it was, and I doubt Morph is listening to this, but it was possibly Crossfire by Steven, which is in Morph's montage. I know Morph watches some of my videos, I doubt he'll be watching this, but if you are, Morph, stop the video, put in the comments now that you heard this, but I doubt you are. But I think I was listening to Crossfire by Steven, it's a really good song. And I was thinking, like, fuck, I gotta type this. And I just went off on a tangent, and I said, this is exactly word for word what I wrote. I said, try and have things going for you. Pursue your passion. You only live on this planet once, then you're gone. We have no idea what happens when you're gone, so don't waste your only opportunity. Make yourself great. And I know that's cringy. That's probably a bit cringy for some of you to hear. It's a bit cringy for me to read, but it's so fucking true, guys. You only live on this, for all we know, and I know a lot of people have different beliefs, even I'm kind of split on whether there's an afterlife or not, like, I'm not sure, obviously, no one really knows, but some people really believe it, some people don't believe it at all, and then there's people like me who are sort of in the middle. I believe it more than I don't believe it, but that's just me. We don't really know. All we know right now is that we have a life, and we choose what to make of it. Some people have, you know, very detrimental circumstances, which makes it hard for them to do anything. If you're living, for example, right now in Syria or anywhere in the Middle East, that's kind of fucked up. You're not really having a good time, and it's hard for you to, you know, that's different. They're living a different lifestyle. They're living a lifestyle of survival, and I saw it on the news the other day, the battle for Mosul, or Mosul, I don't know how to pronounce it, and I literally saw some guy, like, with his dad, and like, he was crying, and his dad was dying, and there's children about, and they're, like, all homeless, just looking for a place to sleep, and that, it's fucking heartbreaking. So, and I don't know why I'm even talking on that sort of tangent, but yeah, that's that. That's obviously, like, you know, that's living for survival, but I'm on about people living in a first world country, which is us, the luckiest of the luckiest of the luckiest of people, who have the ability to make something of ourselves, and, guys, I can't express enough how important it should be for you not to just slack through life. I know so many people who are just coasting through life at the moment, and either they're living for the sesh, which, if you don't know what that means, is basically living to go clubbing, living for the weekend, which is just not a way you want to live. You want to just try and pursue something. If you have a passion, pursue it. Just pursue it. Even if you don't think you have the right equipment, or you don't think it's the right time on that, just at least start something. If you want to rap, start writing lyrics, start writing songs. If you want to be a singer, I don't know, go singing lessons, apply for the X Factor, do something. But just, you know, there's so many different things. If you want to be a plumber, then start learning the trade, etc. There's so many different things. Like, for me, I want to be a YouTuber. It's my dream. It's been my dream since fucking forever. So what I'm doing is I'm absolutely smashing it. I don't have the best equipment. I've got good equipment. I've got very good equipment compared to a lot of people. But that's equipment that I've bought for myself. That's equipment that I've worked for. I can't think of anything here that was bought for me. This stand I bought for myself. The mic I bought for myself. The laptop I spent $1,000 on. $1,000. I saved up $1,000 for a fucking laptop. I think some of it was my birthday money. I can't remember exactly how I got there, but I found myself with $1,000 after working, and I bought my laptop. My lights I bought. My monitor may have been bought for me because I've had this for years. My webcam I bought for myself. My PlayStation I bought for myself. My controller, everything. So, you know, all that money could have gone towards could have gone towards going out, going to town, going whatever. But I decided to invest into my passion, and that's why I've got all this equipment. So don't look, and this chair I bought for myself as well. I fucking saved up for quite a while for this chair, because I spent, if you go back to my Kazalex channel, and maybe my early Kazalex days, you'll find that I was sitting on like a red shitty chair, and it was horrible. The chair alone was enough for me not to want to make videos. But you know, that's off tangent. And guys, I have got to stop this more or less nowish, because it's about 6:17. They're going to be coming in at any minute now. I've got to get my gym bag ready because I'm going to the gym after work. So we'll probably touch up on this more in the next episode of the podcast and go into more depth. I had more things to talk about, but I really just went off on some tangents. And I know this has been a lot about the gym and like passion and that, but I feel like this has been an alright podcast for my first time back. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I'm looking up to here now. Yeah, that I pretty much covered what I wanted to on that topic in particular. Just maybe not as in depth as I wanted to. But you know, try and. The final message which I'm going to say is, if you're watching this and you're thinking about it and you've got nothing really going for you at the moment, that's fine. And I know a lot of you are young, and let me really express this. If you're like 16 or under, and you find that you don't really have anything going for you, just, oh shit, I am only living, go to school, come home and watch YouTube, play games, that is 100,000,000% fine. It's fine. Some people at your age may be doing more things, that's up to them, but don't feel like you need to do anything when you're that young. When I was that young, I was playing games and just doing fuck all, really. Just live. Enjoy your childhood while you can, because when you turn like 17, 18, it starts to get harder and harder, and I don't really want to know what it's like when I'm fucking early 20s, late 20s, it's probably just going to get even worse, so don't worry about that. I'm on about if you're like my age, etc., and you're just living for the weekend. It's just, it's you, and if you want to do that, then go ahead. Like, it doesn't affect me, but try and get stuff done. You'll feel so much better about yourself if you've got a passion that you're pursuing and that you're constantly motivated. You'll just feel a lot better about yourself. I don't really know how else to put it. If you want to start a YouTube channel, if you're sitting here thinking, oh, you know what, I'd love to do YouTube, give it a go. I have mates who literally use Share Factory on PS4, which is a fucking awful software. Okay, it's not awful, it's given the opportunity to me and all my mates to start YouTube, but for what it should be, it's not really great. It's not good compared to like having an Elgato and a computer and that. But I've had my mate JT Gaming, he wanted to do YouTube, so he didn't just sit around wishing for it. He got on it, and he started recording videos on Share Factory, just like I did, and he was making videos, even though they were bad quality, not the fact that his videos were bad quality, but that the actual visual quality of his videos were bad, because it was on Share Factory. It wasn't even 60 frames per second, it was like 30 FPS, which now is like unacceptable for like most people. Although it was bad quality and he wasn't really getting many views, he was doing it consistently because it's better than not doing it. And he was still learning, and now he's invested in Elgato, a webcam, lights, and he's pretty much following the same track as I did with YouTube. And it's just what you gotta do. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I want to start YouTube, but I haven't got the equipment, you probably do have the equipment. If you literally don't have anything, then maybe, get a job, and like, or if you're young, maybe like ask your parents or any family members if they can help you out. Or even if you're that young, like 16, I had a job at 16, start working and, save up for it, guys. If you want to do something, if you want it bad enough, you'll get it. And I am a firm believer in hard work. If you work hard enough, you'll get what you want. But you got to work hard enough. And I don't think enough people realise what hard enough is. And even I'm only just starting to realise how much hard enough really is. And it's fucking hard for a lot of things. A lot harder than a lot of people think. So I'm going to end it on that note, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I thought it was an alright podcast, actually. I think it's relatively motivating. I hope you got a good insight as to where I currently am with life, etc. And I'll talk more about a bit of this next podcast, next episode, as well as some other things like Battlefield 1. I want to talk about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Rocket League, my channel, YouTube in general. I want to talk about that in the next podcast. So make sure you stay tuned, guys. If you enjoyed this, you'll enjoy the others. Go back into my old podcast if you're interested and listen to some of those. I might actually listen to a few now. I actually might today. Either I'm going to listen to Thomas Evans' podcast, or I'm going to listen to one of my really old ones. I'll probably listen to yours, Thomas, if you're watching, just because I want to hear what it's like. I'm interested, and then I'll listen to mine tomorrow or something. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This was actually turned out better than I thought, so it's all good. Please leave a like to show your support, and if you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments. Every comment I really do appreciate, and I reply to all of them. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, I normally upload Rocket League videos, however, once a week-ish. I'm going to try and do a podcast, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.